Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to the show, by the way. You were out last week because you were busy. You've been all over the world doing all of your worldly things.
I have.
Which is crazy. Welcome home. So you're home for the next, 6 hours, and then you leave tomorrow or tonight or something? Or no?
I had like a 10-day turnaround between these two trips. So yeah, I was back last Wednesday. I leave on Monday. So
which is you're going to a conference, is that correct?
Yes, in Walt Disney World, our favorite place. We're headed to Earmark Summit. So very, very excited for all of that.
Fun times. Okay, so what exactly is Earmark? Whenever we say upon a start travel, we are an earmarked agency. What does that even mean? And why should people be impressed? Because they should.
Oh, right. Well, authorized Disney vacation planner, and we have a relationship with Disney. And so, based on various things like, level of sales and, just how you interact with the company, you can get a designation of authorized Disney vacation planner. We are very honored to be one of those agencies. We value very much our relationship with the Walt Disney Company, Walt Disney Travel Company as well.
Yes.
And
yep.
So yeah, that is basically what the designation is. And Earmark and authorized Disney vacation planner sort of used interchangeably, but Earmark's way faster to say. So we typically just say we're an earmarked agency.
What you're saying is that we're sort of like Ron Burgundy walking around going, yay, we're kind of a big deal around here. Everybody come see what trips we're booking. I get it. Jen, how did you Disney this week?
Well, I Disney, first of all, I'm drinking out of my Grand Floridian mug.
Grand Flo mug. I see the mug.
Why would I not be? I also just watched, which I think we're going to talk about, the Disney 100 special that they put out. So that is how I Disneyed this week. Last week, my Disneying, even though I wasn't on, was a little more, well, I don't want to say it was more exciting. It was more physical because I was in Disneyland Paris. So
Right. Of course. And we'll have Kyla on in a couple of weeks or whatever. And you have to talk about Disneyland Paris as a whole. And we got, we have a lot of travels coming up. And it's funny because by the time we finally get to talking about the travels we've done on this podcast, we will have already done new travels. And so we'll have new travels to talk about. And so probably like next July, we'll be going, okay, now that one of us have traveled like the last 3 weeks, I guess we could talk about something else. And which is such a charmed life that we lead. It really, really is. So yes, like you, I watched the Disney special Once Upon a Studio when it premiered on Sunday nights. It premiered at the very beginning of Encanto, which is, again, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I watched it again today and I watched it slower. I had to pause and rewind. Probably took me 20 minutes to watch it, because it's just such a remarkable 8 minutes of
my gosh,
of
amazing.
It's just incredible. But also I purchased my Walt Disney Lego camera.
Oh, you did.
I've been looking at that thing for about a month and a half. It's $100, and I don't just have $100 just laying around, but I had a little birthday money. I'm still, I'm not too old to get birthday money, which is nice, from a few people in the family. And I've been holding on to it, and I'm like, you know what? Just going to do it. The first thing I did was open it up and build my Disney minifigure. He's just a little fig, whatever. It's got a little animation tile with Mickey on it, and it's just really, really cool. And then everything else is still in the box. Haven't even opened the bags or looked at anything yet, but I pulled the Walt Disney minifigure out, stuck them on my shelf there, which is nice. And I had my latest Funko come in, which goes to my Walt Disney train Funko. So I've got Walt Disney on the engine. I've got Steamboat Willie, Mickey, and I've got Darth Vader on the TIE Fighter, Woody on the little ball, and the final piece of it is going to be Miles Morales Spider-Man on the train, on the subway car. So it's like a Disney train with animation, Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel, and it's actually pretty cool.
That's cool. Nice. It's like all of the different IPs.
Exactly. And Stephanie's very excited about this too, because that means I'll stop buying these Funkos. Because what happens is I get caught in these sets. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Like
this
the shawarma set?
Walt Disney on the train. It's great, right? And then I'm like, oh, this is a set? And I've spent the last year purchasing the entire 15 Funko set of the Captain America Civil War
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know
battle
you had
scene.
that one.
Like I've got 13 of the 15. And that's almost done too, because Captain America is the final one. I'll purchase that whenever it comes out. And I'm like, I don't need to look at Funko sites anymore. I don't,
You
because
gotta stop.
I'll be like, oh, check it out. It's it's a favorite character, princess characters line set up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, no.
And of course,
I
it'll
don't
be
need to do that.
Giselle will be like suddenly inducted, and it'll be.
I mean, it'll be like Giselle, Tinkerbell, and Rhino all in a set of $30 each. And I'm like, oh,
And you're buying it.
So buying everything. So we're not gonna really jump on any real big news, because a whole lot has happened this week, but everything happened when you were gone last week, which of course, I want to get your take on it, Jen. We found out that the park hopping, the 2 p.m. rule is dropping. Wanted to get your thoughts on that. January 9th. I know that you were a little sad about this. You called me and were kind of upset. You were like, I can leave early. I want to be able to wait until 2 p.m. Jen, your thoughts on the park hopping dropping?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I am beyond excited. Seriously.
It's
been needed. It's been needed. So I'm like, because I'm ready. Sometimes I want to go hit something in the morning, but then I want to pop right over to Epcot or or studios or something. And I'm like, I gotta wait till 2. Like, so yeah.
Well, I mean, Park Hopper is not cheap. It's like anywhere from $70 to $90 on a ticket, depending on your length of ticket.
Sure, right.
It can be expensive, and it's like, I want to be able to get my money's worth. If I want to leave at 9:30 to run over to Epcot because I just had breakfast at Magic Kingdom, and now I'm going to go to Epcot because I have a lightning lane for Guardians. I want to be able to do that, and then hit Animal Kingdom in the afternoon and go. I mean, if I do the 4 park thing, I want to be able to do it all day versus just I paid it, now I can't leave till 2.
Exactly, which reminds me, like, it was the this was right before the world shut down in 2020, and it was what I didn't realize was going to be my last trip to Disney for a little bit, because again, the world shut down. And I did all 4 parks for no reason other than I was like, I've never done it. Maybe today's the day to do it.
Yeah.
And I was so glad I did, because I had hit every single park. I just did one attraction in each park, and then I was done and went to the airport. So, and I couldn't have done that with the 2 p.m.
I had this hot take last week. I didn't get any calls on it. I don't know. Maybe people agree with me. The 4 park challenge is not hard. It's just not. I mean, people, I'm glad people do it. I'm so excited people do it. And they're like, oh my gosh, we did 4 parks in one day. And I'm like, it's not like you're going from Disney World to Disneyland to Paris to Hong Kong in a 24-hour period, which is impossible. It's more of a,
I do know someone who did it in like 72 hours.
No, that's really cool though. That's a bucket list item. Going overseas is going to be one of those, like, I can't even imagine it, honestly. But one of my bucket lists is to be at Disneyland in the morning and end up at Disney World at night, or vice versa. I guess I think you'd have to go. I think you'd have to go vice versa. Okay, so Disney World in the morning, and then close it out with the fireworks at Magic Kingdom or Disneyland that night. That's a bucket list kind of thing. So one of these days, of course, the other thing that we discovered, also last week, out of nowhere, we woke up and there were Disney promotions. Like, typically, maybe we get a heads up, maybe we don't. Sometimes we hear things, sometimes we don't. But like, I just woke up to my phone going, oh, there's people tweeting up and messaging me about specials. And Jen, can you speak to those a little bit? Like some of the stuff that came out last week? They came out,
last week?
Was it last week? I don't remember.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. Was it? Wasn't it 2 weeks ago? So I was sitting here, I'm like, last week I was in Europe. I don't remember any specials that came out when I was
Maybe
in
it
Europe.
was 2 weeks ago, because I think I was on the ship, because I was sitting down.
You were on the ship.
Yes.
This was like ship. 2.5 weeks
ago.
But yes.
And that's okay. So that's just one of the hard things about being, like, my entire team is on the East Coast, Central and East Coast. And here I am in flipping, Ketchikan, Alaska, checking my phone, and I'm literally 4 hours behind you guys. So you guys are getting all this news at 6 a.m. And I'm like, here's my phone. To me, when it's 7 a.m., it's
we're texting
11 o'clock.
You were like, David.
At 11 o'clock over there. And I'm like, I'm just waking up at, whatever, 7 a.m. And I'm like, oh gosh, there's specials and promos happening. What's going on? So Jen, 2 weeks ago, I didn't speak to a lot of this last week. That's the overview. What happened? So
basically it is a book early and save more, and it's up to 25% off of, select Disney Resort hotels. Spoiler alert, most of them are included. But of course, not every hotel is available for every set of dates. As you might imagine, around a holiday, some of your Epcot locations aren't going to really have the specials available. but you can find some great deals. And it's one of those things where if you book this promotion earlier, you're going to save more. Whereas in the cutoff date, I have to think, December 15th is the cutoff date. I just had to look it up real quick. So from now through December 15th, you get a higher level of savings. If you decide December 16th, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to Disney and I want to use this promotion. Those percentages will be a little bit lower. That said about promotions, so we had this one. We already had the Disney dining card promotion that was out as of month and a half-ish ago. Yep. But we also got a teaser for coming up a new promotion, which is going to be released November 14th. And in fact, we know about this already. It's going to be a stay, play, and dine promotion where kids get up to 50% off of dining. So that is going to be an exciting promotion coming up. So if you have been looking for a time to book Disney, this is a great
it's not free dining. Let's just say that
this
right
is not
now.
Free
it's
dining.
Not free dining.
Not.
It's extremely good discount for the kids.
Exactly.
And if you already have the dining plan, we can look at this promo and add it to save us some money. Or if you're like, you know what, it's me and a couple of adults, or me and my buddy are going to go, or just me and my wife, or whatever, and with no children, and you have the dining plan, we can still do the dining card. So you can literally have a couple $100 on a dining card in addition to your dining plan to splurge for signature restaurants, to splurge for the extra snacks, to say, you know what, I want 75 pieces of Disney fudge right now. I have a dining card and I'm going to get it. So anything really, just about anything covered across resort wide, that could be considered food and snacks.
And we can compare them too. We can be like, absolutely. Oh yeah, like here's your dates. Oh gosh, well we could do this or we could do this, and we just pick what's best for your family.
Yeah, and I remember it now because when this promo came out, the one that was released like a week or two ago, I was on the ship and it was in the morning. I had my computer open and I'm like I'm basically logging into people's accounts, like saving money and stuff, writing things down. I'm like, sending clients emails and going, hey, I just saved you, $175. All right, I got to go see the lumberjack show in Ketchikan. I mean, it's I'll talk to you later. I'm going to be on a ship, and so this is what we do. I mean, we work on vacation too, and I had to work a little bit.
Magic.
So, and we'll talk about the Princess Cruise. I think next week. That's going to be kind of for the next week's episode, because I have a lot to talk about there. But today we are going to talk about Disney and Disney stuff. The Candlelight Processional narrators came out. Did you see the list? Anything stick out to you, like exciting wise, that you're just like, oh my gosh?
I think, you're always excited about NPH, right? Like, and then me, because I grew up listening to Stephen Curtis Chapman, I'm always like, well, yeah, I would love to see him do Candlelight.
My wife is so mad she can never catch him. Usually he's around Christmas time.
He's typically right around Christmas. Yeah.
He's this year, 24th to 26th of December. And she's like, my love for Stephen Curtis Chapman does not surpass my unwillingness to go to Disney at Christmas time.
I would totally go at Christmas time. I would totally
Christmas time, yes. Christmas Day, no. Well, and you also don't have any children either, so that
is
helps.
Correct. That does help.
So that helps. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Also, Brendan Fraser coming, which is really
exciting.
Now, as we speak, the dining packages are already open. A lot of them have already sold out. So hopefully you were talked to your travel agent, hey guys, about those dining packages. We've already gotten some for clients and such.
Yes.
We can continue to look and try to help, with their clients.
And the system did go a little glitchy. In the middle
as it always does.
Whenever a new dining anything comes out, they're like, it sort of freezes up mid-morning. It's like, just
yes. So that's exciting. All right, so enough shop talk. Let's talk a little bit about Disney and this special that came out. We had heard, got little trailers for it, like this Disney special was coming out, going to be, coming Sunday to the Wonderful World of Disney, which I think, and I don't know how long they've done this, but I know that there has in Hollywood, there's an actor strike and the writer strike. The writer strike, I think, just got resolved.
The writer strike is
the actor strike is still going on,
correct?
Which has pushed back a ton of programming.
Oh yes,
seasons of things like you're going to see more reality shows on TV because they're cheap to make, things like that.
Yeah.
So I think they have brought back and they've been doing the Wonderful World of Disney because they can show Disney films that have already come up
from the past, right?
It's exactly from the past. Also, NBC's got NFL football going on, so Disney knows.
That's helpful.
The channels know. They're like, well, we can't put a lot of programming we're expecting to make a ton of money on. So let's just put something up like a family movie or whatever. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So they were going to put this special up, and we had been hearing about, all these characters are going to be in it and everything. And I didn't really know what to expect. The trailer made me think like maybe it was going to be a 10-minute story of the villains were banding together, like the House of Mouse or something from the 90s. The villains were banding together and the good guys had to, I had no idea. So essentially, and I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but essentially, it's the Roy Disney Animation Studio. You have two people that leave, and the whole thing shuts down for the evening, and all the characters come alive out of their portraits to take a family photo for the Disney 100th birthday. It is. I'm not underselling it when I say this is an amazing piece of Disney animation.
I'm like seriously tearing up. Like,
and let me just describe it for the audience in case you haven't seen it. Which by the way, it's 7.5 minutes of animation, 2 minutes of credits. Guys, out there, it's on Disney Plus right now. You can watch it at some red lights. You can watch it. Pull into a parking lot.
We don't recommend that.
Don't recommend it. But like I've already seen it 3 or 4 times, and Jen saw it, earlier today for the first time. This is one of the most incredible pieces of animation I've ever seen for Disney fans. For the casual Disney fan, it blows you away. For the real serious, like in-depth Disney fan, it's a studying moment. There are over 500 and something characters represented. There were 55, 60 voices brought back. Most of the originals, a lot of them came back. Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, Jeremy Irons came back and did their own real quick voices for their characters. They pulled archival footage from everything from Bob Newhart to Angela Lansbury to Robin Williams and people like Pat Carroll who have passed away. They brought them all in there. And it's just everybody's gathering coming out of these paintings. It's like you see these characters that are all together that you would never see together. There's one scene at a coffee shop, at the coffee shop. It's the Snuggly Duckling coffee shop, by the way, from Tangled. And in this scene, you see there's Merlin from Sword in the Stone. There's Cogsworth. There's the Mad Hatter. There's the March Hare. There's Chip and Mrs. Potts. And there's Lucille from Meet the Robinsons over in the corner. And here comes Moana with Flounder in her hands looking for water. So they put water in Mad Hatter's top hat. So all that's happening. Then, of course, in the bathroom scene, there's Prince John, there's Thomas O'Malley, there's Milo from Atlantis, there's Chicken Little, there's Gaston with Cheshire Cat popping up, there's Happy from the Seven Dwarfs, and the Headless Horseman grooming himself, like grooming his collar and flaking his shoulder, like, and there's so much to see.
Like Ichabod Crane, and you're like,
yes, and it all culminates. They all get outside, and Goofy's got the camera, and he's trying to set the timer, and of course, the whole thing falls apart, and it's 7 minutes. I'm gonna spoil it for you. So if you don't want to hear it, skip ahead for go watch it right now and come back to the show.
Literally pause it and then come back.
So the camera breaks and everybody's upset. So they all start to walk away. I think somebody says, "Well, we'll see you in the Eeyore. I'll see you in the next 100 years," or something like that. And so here comes they pan up and there's Alan O'Dale from Robin Hood playing his little guitar instrument.
And the waterworks just started.
And he starts plugging When You Wish Upon a Star, and the characters all start singing it. And you have this mass of characters. They're all coming together. Fix It Felix runs over. He fixes the camera. There's the fairy godmother. She uses the wand. She raises Goofy into the air to fix it. And it's just, and it's just like they take the picture. And it's remarkable because everything is done in their style of animation. You got the old Tinkerbell, not the CGI graphic.
No, the actual Tinkerbell.
Actual old Tinkerbell walking. And there you see Anna and Elsa walking there. And they're the newer animation. There's Wreck-It Ralph coming out with CGI animation.
And Mickey and Minnie are their original, like I would call it their maybe peak animation, I guess I would say. Like not the newer style, not the very original, like.
Yep. And it's so, I don't want to say obscure. Well, some of it's so obscure because you catch you'll miss it. There's Elliot, and in his hands, Elliot the dragon flying through, in his hands is Cody from the Rescuers Down Under. If you look real close in the elevator, you're going to see Meet the Robinsons. There's the robots, Meet the Robinsons. There's Humphrey and a park ranger, which are Donald's kind of foils from the 50s cartoons of Donald Duck. There's Donald, there's Turk, there's Mother Gothel, and here comes Flash from Zootopia.
You're like, what?
And then Baymax tries to cram in there as well. Oswald makes an appearance. It's some Easter eggs for you folks. If you look at the scene where Olaf is drawing, and right before Aladdin, the genie pops out, in the background there's Timon and Pumbaa, and you see a little guy in yellow flying through. Well, his character is Robin from this TV show Back to Neverland. That's Robin Williams' character. He doesn't voice anything in that, but you see the character itself, almost like an homage of like, hey, this is Robin. And I'm scanning through my phone because I took a lot of pictures and screenshots and stuff. And of course, you have this massive ending scene, which they're going to have to sell as a print. I know they'll sell as a print.
That needs to be
because there's so many characters there, and every time you look at it, you see something different. There's Oswald, there's the skeletons from the Silly Symphony. There's the little blue coop from the Little Blue Coop.
Oh, we got Chernabog on one point, like they had like from Fantasia.
Yeah, he came out. He's not actually the final one, but he's
but he's representing
scaring the puppies, the 101 Dalmatian puppies. There's the Carnotaur from Dinosaurs, from the Dinosaur movie. All 61 of Disney's animated films, including the upcoming Wish, are represented
they were all in there,
even Black Cauldron, even Home on the Range, which I look for Home on the Range, by the way. I told my wife
you did. I wouldn't have seen that one if you hadn't.
I told Steph, I was like, I wonder if Home on the Range will be in this. And there's Louisa holding up not only Home on the Range, but also characters from Brother Bear holding them on her shoulders.
Because they had the Brother Bear characters. I was shocked. And they had the Artful Dodger from Oliver and Company.
Yes, Oliver and Company. And there's because you also see Dodger, you see Dodger and Oliver in the car with Vanellope von Schweetz as she's zipping through the hallways. And there's Dodger singing. And that's Billy Joel's voice. And so as you watch it too, and I recommend this too, is if you watch it on TV or even your phone or whatever, pause it on the cast list, because it shows everybody in there, and it shows like your voices and then your archival voices, so you know which ones did it for this, and then which ones were pulled from archives. Jeremy Irons, this was his first time doing the voice of Scar since The Lion King, and he did that. There's Mr. Toad flying through with the magic carpet, and it's like not just the characters, but to see them all together, combining together, hanging out and interacting with each other, because it shows this whole like we're all in all these different movies and TV series, but we are one family. We're all together as a family. And it's just like, wow.
They made it a 9-minute cohesive story. They told an entire story.
They did.
They did. That was beautiful. And like, literally, I'm thinking about it and tearing up. It's a Disney movie has not gotten me like this for a while.
It's better than some of the movies they put out recently. I mean, seriously, just
literally,
and then of course, and here comes the waterworks from Jenn. There is that pivotal scene where Mickey looks up and he sees the Walt portrait. And in the background, you hear Tuppence the Bag on the piano, which is notable as being Walt's favorite song. And it's just like this, like,
look at this.
Well, y'all should go watch this on YouTube. It's Jenn's like wiping the eye, stuff like that. It's beautiful. And it's like, it's this beautiful tribute and everything you think about Disney right now. And I know there are a lot of people that are like, Walt will be turning over in his grave if he saw blah, 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 blah. And Disney prices are too high and their movies are blah, 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 whatever. You know what? And there is credence to some of the things people say. I get it. I hear the arguments. I'm like, there's a point being made here. I don't like the way it's made because you're an idiot, but there is a point being made. I get that. I get it. And I am not one to be like, Disney is flawless and they're perfect. But this is a complete, true dedication to the fans. This is like Disney. This is who we are. This is who we've always been. Look at our characters. Look at the stories we've been told. In that scene at the end, there are 1,000 stories told right there, from everything from movies to sequels to the TV series to the Alice comedies to the stuff that the skeletons from Skeleton Dances and Flowers and Trees were there. They predated Mickey Mouse.
They sure did
before Mickey and Oswald.
And Oswald was, of course,
and
before
Oswald,
Mickey.
Exactly. Oswald was before Mickey, but this is stuff like going all the way back to the very, very, very beginning. And I just can't.
Thus the 100 years, because Mickey isn't quite 100.
Exactly.
It's not 100
yet. Beautiful this thing is, and I'm so in love with this 8 minutes of animation. It's just wonderful, and I will watch this probably 20 times.
I'm gonna go back and watch it again. Time. And Brady hasn't seen it, so I'm gonna make him watch it, because like I really can't say enough about it.
When you watch it, let him watch it, and just just tell him, I'm not gonna say anything. You watch it by yourself if you need to, and then let's watch it together. We can kind of catch some stuff, talk about some stuff. But
I do think that it is. And this is something that we've been seeing in recent couple years. And I know, listen, we've talked about how, maybe under previous administrations, that
typic what?
That, maybe we didn't agree with all of the decisions being made. However, this to me is just another step of showing how they're listening to the fans, getting back to that magical storytelling that they do better than literally anybody else.
Correct.
Like there is not another entity that I can point to that tells a story as magically and as like, how am I bawling at an 8.5 minute movie? It's just like whenever like Up, I bawled during the first freaking 10 minutes of Up, which told the most beautiful love story better than like Romeo and Juliet. Like
better than Twilight. Better than 4 movies of Twilight. Exactly.
Completely accurate.
I don't know that the character of Lambert, the sheepish lion, has crossed my mind in probably 20 years.
I love Lambert.
He's in the montage.
He's in the I missed him in the montage. And
he's in
Lambert.
there. He's in there, and there's so much in there. The big bad wolf is in there. The hyenas from Lion King is in there. And I'm looking. Actually, there's lists online now, and I knew there would be, but there are now lists online.
Of course. Madame Medusa from
Madame Medusa
Rescues.
is in. just Clarabelle Cow and Cod the Python interacting.
Oh,
and there's
that was
Rapunzel.
hilarious.
I got this, and this great scene where Max comes and grabs Prince Charming's shoe, not Cinderella, but Prince Charming's shoe.
That was so funny.
And then of course Prince Charming's like, Eric, get your dog. It's
like there's
wonderful.
so many like just
yeah
poignant moments, but then also like funny moments. Just like
and I was imagining how much fun it would have been for to be an animator or voice artist to be on this thing, or like you're Jason Bateman.
Oh gosh,
hey Jason, this is John from Disney Animation. Can you zoom in real quick? We just say one line. What's it for? Well, we'll tell you about it. One line. I'd be thrilled. I'd be like, one line. I don't know if they got paid for it. I have no idea. But anyway, so that all leads us to, of course, we're talking about Disney's 100th year celebration, which, by the way, Disney put out a great TikTok. They've done something with TikTok now where they're doing a lot of TikToks from Disney parks, which are kind of fun. I made the mistake of going to the comment section. Which you should never do on anything.
You don't ever do that. That's just
it doesn't matter
unless you really need entertainment on like a
it shouldn't matter. But I did, and so many people are like, "Oh, Disney's been celebrating their celebrations, anniversaries for years and years." I don't understand.
Oh, stop it!
So Walt Disney World celebrated its 50th anniversary a couple of years ago. They put it out for 18 months only because the pandemic was just ending, and they were like, "We want to give everybody a chance to come and celebrate with us because we know it might be years before people can come back." This is actually Disney Company's 100th anniversary, not Disneyland, not Disney World, not Mickey Mouse. This is the Disney Company's 100th anniversary. On June 16th, 1923, Walt and Roy Disney in California, Southern California, incorporated the Disney Brothers as a company. They were doing an office in the back of a realty office. That's all they had. They were working on the Alice comedies, which is what they had been contracted to do, and they turned it into an actual company. Which Jen, as you might,
cats in that too, weren't there?
I think so. There's cats. It was this breakthrough animation of like a real life Alice girl and animated like cats
entities,
and whatever animated things. And so Jen, as you might have figured out, they expanded beyond the realty office.
Shocking.
And became something even bigger, but it all started on that one day, 100 years of magic, as we've talked about this special ad nauseum here. So this begs the question, and we'll kind of have this little conversation here, Jen.
Yeah.
Disney. Why Disney? We are, it's 2023. I feel like sometimes, and Disney, if you're listening, you know that I love you, but sometimes I'm like, why do I need to love you so much? Because you're driving me nuts here, whether it's the tech, whether it's whatever decisions they make that we do or don't agree with, whatever. What is it about Disney for you as a whole that you look at that and say, you know what, that's better than Universal. That's better than, Hershey's Chocolate Park, whatever that is. That's better than anything. This is better than whatever movie. This is a company as a whole. What is it about you in your life that you look at Disney, you're like, that's my jam. That's my thing.
This has literally been part of my life growing up. And so, I mentioned there is always a nostalgia, and anytime you have grown up with something, you have that connection to it. And for me, it was always because we watched Wonderful World of Disney. We watched the Disney Channel. My parents paid for the Disney Channel, and that is what I watched. So talking about those 1950s cartoons, that's some of my earliest memories is watching those Donald Duck and that Mickey Mouse, like that animation, the Chip and Dale, loving that. And then of course, Mary Poppins, which was one of my favorite movies. We watched it so much growing up. So it was that storytelling and that animation that would always became a safe place for, that's always something where you could always go to and know that you're going to smile, know that there's a happy ending, know that no matter what the characters are facing, it's the happy ending. It's the fairy tale. And then once, the movies, I guess it'd be the Renaissance came out. I remember seeing Little Mermaid in the theater. And then after that, it was every year, what's the new Disney movie? So that took me through high school. And of course, we went to Walt Disney World, not as much as Brady did, but we had gone. But for me, like the TV shows and the movies are what started that love. And I saw a TikTok the other day, or maybe it was a reel, I can't remember, of somebody just basically saying like Disney adults and how, yes, we are Disney adults, because that you will see us when something goes wrong. We're going to go watch those Disney movies.
Right.
This is going to be forever, because there is an element of storytelling and nostalgia that, listen, Universal has great rides. I love Universal. I'm happy to sell Universal. I'm happy to go to Universal, but I don't have that deep connection like I do with the Walt Disney Company. There, you see Mickey Mouse and you're like, okay, it's like he's my friend. And he's been my friend since I've been a kid.
The thing about Disney too is they tell original stories. Universal doesn't have original stories. They have stories that other people have told, or maybe they created outside of the parks and brought them in. And that's great, because if you want to see Minions and Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon and even Harry Potter, it's there and it's awesome. And it's great IP in the way they're doing it. It's fantastic. But Disney has set up a series of stories. And yes, there is some criticism about how much IP they're doing now. And I get that. But you go there. It
also makes sense.
And you see there's a Mickey Mouse story and a Tinkerbell story, and the Yeti Expedition Everest.
Yes.
That's the story. And just there's so many stories within the confines of that. And like you, Disney is a part of my life, been part of my life for a very, very long time. I was not a Disney child because my parents, we couldn't afford to go to Disney at all. I remember, and I've told the story before, but we went in 1982. Epcot wasn't even done yet, so it was only the Magic Kingdom. I went again in college in 95 and 97. Both times again, the Magic Kingdom. I used a paper ticket that was like this big, that had somebody had stamped dates on it. It was like a 5-day park hopper or something.
Oh yeah,
before the dates had been used, and then you gave it to me. My aunt gave it to me, and I didn't have to scan in or anything. She just gave me the ticket, and she was like, "Here you go. I got a day left." So went for there. I worked at the Disney store in 1996 and 97, and we got free passes, so I was able to go again. And again, had only gone to the Magic Kingdom. Had not seen to the other parks and everything. And I really didn't know much about Epcot. I knew that Hollywood Studios was a park. I knew they were building an Animal Kingdom. Didn't know a lot about it. Married into a Disney family. My wife, Stephanie, her whole family is Disney. They've been going as long as she can remember. Even when she was a little kid, there are pictures of her at the theme parks when she was a small child, which are really, really cute. So cute. And we decided to go on Disney for a honeymoon. And I was like, that's the best. I'm planning a honeymoon. And I'm like, I guess we'll go to Disney World. I don't know. So I went to a brick and mortar travel agent, actually sat in an office and with somebody. I don't remember who she is. I remember where the store is. It doesn't exist anymore. And we planned a trip, and we went to the Caribbean resorts, and we stayed in Jamaica for 4 nights. And then we went on the Disney Wonder cruise ship for 3 nights, and we didn't have the dining plan yet. Didn't exist, but we had our first breakfast as a married couple at Cinderella's castle, right there by the window. They had confetti all over the table. We were exhausted. We had got in at 1 o'clock the night before. It was early. We were there, but it was so much fun being there. And, Stephanie is like, I get to take you to Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios for the first time. This is gonna be so exciting. And MGM Studios when it was. And, we went, and it was like, you fall in love with things that your spouse loves. End up loving a lot of those things too. And so, but what really kicked it into overdrive for me was when I went to the Disney store again to work in 2008, 2010. I had already been to Disney a couple of times with the family, whatever. And I had become at the Disney store that I worked in kind of the Disney historian. People were coming to me, asking me questions about movies, or a guest would come in and ask, hey, what do you do about this? Hey, David. Yeah. So she wants to know about the flowers and trees stuff. What is that? Oh, okay. So that was a series of cartoons just going on and on about, telling him random stuff. And I had written up these charts about like movies that had gone into moratorium. What about The Lion King? Is it on video? Well, no, it actually it went into moratorium in 2004. It's actually due to come back sometime. It's in the vault, basically. And I was just going on and on about that. So I knew all that stuff too. And I love the Disney store here in Birmingham. We ended up being the oldest store in the company, because for a lot of people, I treat it like this was Disney World for a lot of people. Kids would come in, and they, these are families in, there are poor neighborhoods like any city, and they would come in to buy something for birthday, for Christmas or whatever. And this was the only Disney they would get. And so I remember when little girls would come in dressed as princesses, I would see them and I would greet them. Oh, hi, Cinderella. And then like, as they're walking around the store, I would write on a Post-it note, meeting at the castle at 3:00. And I'd walk over and it's like, hey, Mickey just called. He knows you're here. He wants me to tell you that you have a meeting at the castle at 3:00. Don't be late, okay? Or, hey, Mickey wanted to let you know that, that he sees you, whatever. And I would give like the note or something like that. Or we had Prince Charming came in and I actually wrote a note in a Cinderella script. And I was like, hey, Cindy just said that she's going to be late to dinner this weekend, but she's excited for you guys to get to hang out. So here you go. Just, I love doing those kind of things. The store closed in 2010 and it broke my heart. Like that job, losing that job, like I grieved over that job. I loved that job so much. But of course, Stephanie has told me, she was like, well, if that job continued, number one, would you still be there? And number two, would you be doing what you're doing now? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know at all. And the thing about Disney too, is it brings so many people together. Had I not had the love for Disney, I would not obviously been a travel agent. I would not have met you. I might have met you in random circles. Who knows?
Yeah,
but I don't know that I would have. I would not have this podcast. I would not have met Kyla. I would not have met the incredible team and friends that I have now. There's a lot of things that people that I meet that I don't work with, that I just meet randomly at Disney, that I would not know. And so Disney is a fabric of who we are. And we are raising our kid like that. He knows Disney. He knows very little Universal. And it's not as if we're keeping it from him. He's seen Harry Potter. He's seen Shrek. He's seen other movies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We went through an Encanto phase. We watched Encanto every single day for like 4 straight months. We know all the lines, we know all the words, and everything. So, he just, it's ingrained in who he is. So back to you, Jenn, your earliest Disney memory, be it a movie, be it a park, be it whatever. And not saying like, well, I went when I was 2, but I don't remember, like your earliest,
like what I actually remember,
what you do remember.
I remember sitting in the house. It was in Ravenswood, West Virginia, watching the console TV. Remember the console TVs that were in like in the boxes, right?
Oh yeah.
I definitely remember laying there on the couch and watching Herbie the Love Bug, which
nice.
And that would have been around the same time frame that I was watching like the 50s cartoons and whatever that I mentioned, like the Donald Duck and the Mickey Mouse classics. But I distinctly remember watching Herbie the Love Bug with my dad.
Awesome.
Which is like
awesome,
hilarious. So I would have been like probably 4 or 5, maybe.
That is great. I don't remember going in 1982. I remember the pictures, but I don't. Well, I take that back. I do remember being scared of the Haunted Mansion and being scared of pirates because I was 7,
that's fair.
And I was scared of the dark. So I remember that's really all I remember from those things. And honestly, when I look at pictures, we also went to Circus World on that trip. And Circus World's an old theme park in Orlando. And some of my memories are meshed together. And I'm like, I remember seeing this. Oh, that character was at Disney. That character was at Circus World. I don't remember, right? I also remember seeing Snow White and the 7 Dwarves in 1983 at the theaters because I wanted to go see I wanted to go see Jaws 3D at the theater, and whoever was taking me was like, I'm not taking you to see Jaws 3D. We'll go see Snow White and 7 Dwarfs. I'm like, I want to see Jaws 3D. So I saw Snow White. But really, my earliest memory of like Disney in terms of movies and stuff, I remember in 1986 when they had I'm looking here, the Wonderful World of Disney. It's when they would show the movies, and they would do original movies.
Yeah.
And I saw a movie with Sean Astin called The Brat Patrol.
Oh my gosh.
The Brat Patrol. Sean Astin, and there's some like Neil Long is in this, and Brian Keith and whatever. And Brat means born, raised, and trapped because they were military kids. And it's this whole thing where I want to say the military base was taken over by the bad guys, but the kids banded together and fought back.
This is like a quintessential 80s movie.
Yeah, exactly. This is 1986. It was a TV movie made for the Wonderful World of Disney, and they would show there was other movies that I remember vaguely remember whatever, but I remember the Brat Patrol.
That's funny.
And I remember from that movie on, I started watching the Disney films, and I didn't really get into the Disney movies, the animated movies, probably till Beauty and the Beast. And I think that's probably why it's maybe my favorite, because that's really
because I've been the first one that you.
And then when you get to college, it was cool to like Disney movies because now you're in college and everybody's supposed to be hip and cool like that. So, I went with our group of friends to Walmart to buy the clamshell of Aladdin when it first came out. I remember unwrapping Aladdin. I'm like, so we had viewing parties. I was a college freshman and sophomore. I had Aladdin sheets on the bed. I'm not kidding. I still have them. They're twin size. I can't put them on any bed I have, but I still have my Aladdin sheets.
I had
from back
Mickey
in the day.
sheets.
So
I had Mickey
yeah, I
sheets and
loved it.
comforter.
And
Yeah.
and Campbell, my kid, has got Avenger sheets and Toy Story sheets. And so,
Mhm.
although the other day we were at Walmart, they have Encanto sheets on sale. He's like, Encanto sheets. I'm like, I'm not buying you Encanto. I'm not letting you lay your head on Louisa and Maribel. That's just weird. We're not doing that. Right. We're okay. We're okay. So we're not going too long here, Jen. In terms of Disney, your okay. Yes. So is there a moment that it just clicked for you that like, okay, this is more than just Disney's cool. I like Disney. This is awesome. I mean, was there a moment somewhere that you can remember that you're like, yeah, this is my thing and what I want to do? And I guess to further that
Yeah.
you knew you wanted to be involved in Disney for a career. I mean,
Yeah. I would say 2006 when we went on our honeymoon, because I told you Brady grew up going to the park. So for him, it was more parks than like TV movies. Like, yeah, he saw some of it, but it was like really, really park based for him.
Right.
And I had always loved it, but never realized quite what a lifelong thing it would be. And I kind of was like, like I wanted to go to Disney for a honeymoon, but I didn't want to say anything. And he's like, well, I kind of thought we'd go to Disney. And I was like, oh, yeah. So at that point, and after we went and was like, how do we get back here? Like, how do we make this where we are here more often? And at that point, I realized this is a life. Like I am totally a lifer, not just going to watch, the movies and things. This is like, this is what's happening. And then as I got more in depth into it, I would just say it was I didn't even know that you could do this. It was as soon as I found out I can plan this for people, like I can actually make this a career. That's when I was sold. So it would have been like the early 2010s. Like, okay, how do I make this happen? Because I need to talk about Disney every single day. I need to be able to just
and we do
all the time.
And we
all
do.
the time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend of mine come to me in 2011, 2011, something like that. And she asked me, you guys go to Disney a lot because we had like I was a manager at the Disney store. So we had the silver pass. So I could get myself in 3 other people in like all the time. So we went a lot. We went an awful lot.
Well,
we went like 6 times in 2009, which is insane, which now I'm like 6 times, whatever. I mean, that's still a lot, but I remember like sitting down in front of my computer and I'm like, I'm going to knock out a page of tips. And I wrote 12 pages, 13 pages of tips. And I gave it to her and she's like, this is insane. I'm like, it was comprehensive. I just kept thinking of things. And she's like, you should do this. This is whatever. And it roundabout way, when the store closed, I worked my way in and, found an agency, worked with them, learned a little bit and kind of moved from here and there and ended up with Upon a Star. Much to your reward, by the way. So yeah, somewhere in there, but also and I'll speak to the father side of it also with Campbell. He's been going since he was like 6 months old.
Yeah.
This is really all he knows, honestly. And we're going to take him to Universal probably next summer for the first time. So he'll get to see some of that. But the magic that surrounds him when he's there, because he is fully invested in all of it. And their links that they go to take care of him. This is the part where I lose it. The links that they go to take care of him and to help him be included is incredible. The things they have done for him and done for our family that they didn't have to do, that like they could have stopped at a certain point and we'd still be like, oh, that's great. But the things they've gone through in the lips and everything from food to characters to lines and stuff is just, it's magic. And that word's used so much around so many things, but it truly is a magical experience when he's there. I got tears coming out of my eyes, by the way.
Yeah.
For those on YouTube, I don't usually do this, but him being there and us being there as a family is just, it's incredible. And that's why I'm so adamant about Disney and disabilities. And people are like, well, I'm disabled, I can't go. Yes, you can. They're going to take care of you, which is also why I get so furious when people take advantage of that system and like don't need it.
For sure.
Oh, it drives. Oh, just I want to just smack you with a flip flop upside the face, like grandma used to do. But yeah, there's this magic that cannot be described until you're there. And, and not everybody gets it. People who go and they don't have a good time for whatever reason, maybe their fault, maybe it's not their fault. It's just, it's not for everybody. I understand that. I can't look at you and be like, everybody needs Disney. But I would say for people who've never been or people who haven't been in a long time, or those grumpy people that are like, I don't know about it, go and let yourself enjoy be open to the magic and be open to the experience that you have. So yeah, so there we go. So any final thoughts
Okay.
on that now that I need to wipe my face?
Oh, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
think just if you are, first of all, if you're listening and you're a person who maybe hasn't grown up with it and have been confused, hopefully that helps you to understand where we're coming from. But I would just say dive into some of this magic too. Like you can just make the choice to be like, you know what? I'm just going to be immersed in this storytelling because listen, there's so much negativity and just stuff in the world
we need
that
magic right now.
we
We
need magic. And this has always been in Disney World for me through any season. There has always been even people are like, oh, the magic is gone. The magic was never gone. The magic was never gone for me. I mean, it is what you make of it. Okay. Oh, we had to wear a mask in the park. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there was still magic. And there was still magic every single place, what the cast members were doing, so you can also choose to find the magic. And Disney has always provided a place where you can find the magic. So
yeah, and just to be clear, we don't work for Disney.
We
does
don't
not sign our paychecks. As a travel agency, with all travel agencies, Disney will send the commissions to the agency and then we work from there. But we don't work for Disney. This is not an official Disney podcast. They don't call me up and like, well, you need to say this and here's a press release. None of that. And I am critical, just as anybody has been. As a matter of fact, our quasi-producer Heather, the Moana mom, gets so angry at me sometimes because she's like, you're too negative. And I'm like, I'm just calling it like I see it, right? But I say that to say that, yes, it's okay to be a little critical of everything. You should be critical of everything you love. Sometimes I love this so much that you're like, okay, I want to look at the whole picture. I get it. But yeah, I agree with you. There is a sense of magic. And I think that I think for all its faults, it's on the right track. I do see decisions that are being made that I'm like, yo, what? This is good. This is a good thing. This is where we're going for whatever reason you want to put on as to why they're doing what they're doing. I think that they're making some really good decisions, park wise, especially. And I'm very, very excited about that. So
I'm very excited for the future. I think that there's so many wonderful days ahead and so much I'm very, very excited for. I'm excited to go next week. And so, yeah, I mean, if I just had one thing that I could request for the 100, just one thing, can we get the Adventurers Club back? I just want the Adventurers Club. I feel like there's a place, Disney. I feel like there's a place for it. We just,
you know what?
Be creative. I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
That would be good. You know what? I don't even need Magical Express would be great. But even if you only just bring the luggage service back, that's fine. We'll start with that. Just check my luggage.
No, let's not start with that. Let's start with Adventurers Club. I like Adventurers Club. Okay,
Adventurers Club. We'll do that. Or 1900 Park Fair. We'll start with that too. So,
okay, fine.
And if you think we're emotional here, wait till you hear next week's episode on Gatorland. It's going to be pretty intense. It's going to be pretty intense.
I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot there.
Go Gators. So Tim Tebow. Anyway, so Jen, for all your adventures and travels, where can people find you?
All right. You can find me at Upon a Star Jen or my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny.
Very nice. Find me on Instagram at The Magic on a Dollar. Find me on Facebook at Magic on a Dollar and at Disney on a Dollar. And of course, find the show at The MSE Podcast. That's where you're going to find us on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram and all the places, of course. And of course, The MSE Podcast at gmail.com. That's our email. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your story. Why you love Disney so much. What is it about Disney that makes you love it? And what did you think maybe Disney should change? Whatever. We'd love to hear all your feedback. That would be fantastic. And of course, Upon a Star Travel on all the socials as well. And Jen, there's apparently a new YouTube show coming out every week now. What is this show and what are we doing?
Yeah, at Upon a Star Travel on YouTube, we do have a weekly travel show, Travel with the Stars, basically just talking a lot of things Disney, but then also other destinations as well. If you want to learn a little bit about Universal, if you want to learn about Royal Caribbean, we have little shows on everything. And then, of course, when it comes to Walt Disney World, doing more in-depth topics, having to really break that down, which we will do eventually with Disneyland. And because there's just so much out there and we want you to be able to meet our amazing stars, which we have several of, and they are each and every one of them experts and amazing in and of their own right. So this is just so you can get to know them and kind of, we have a lot of fun together. So you get to see that.
Travel with the Stars sounds like a TLC show, like a travel show that comes, or the Travel Channel or whatever. Maybe Samantha Brown hosts it. And I'm just imagining like a lounge singer voice, Travel with the Stars. Come watch us travel with the stars. We take you far. I can see all this is what we need. This is what we need.
I guess we need to get that together.
So there we go, folks. And I hope you enjoyed our little chit chat about Disney and Disney magic. We'd love to hear about some of your magic as well. And don't forget those Phoenicians. They're magical too. Thank them.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.